Consider yourself warned that my brain is not working today. I've just got through 6 minutes of video and realised I was talking complete nonsense. Tiredness and lack of health in many other ways means that articulation becomes way more difficult. Even lack of sugar in some ways. I'm cutting out a lot of things at the moment, and from what I know about dopamine and how your brain balances your dopamine reserve, is it? I think how it's put by Anna Lemke, the lady who's been on Andrew Huberman, who's really switched on with it, and she's great. Listen to the Andrew Huberman Anna Lemke podcast if you get the chance. She was actually also recently on the Knowledge Project with Shane Parrish, which Farnham Street make, and I love. I am acutely aware of the fact that I feel like I'm in this place where, because I've cut out the things that were providing a great source of dopamine hits. I remember her saying that hits is, she doesn't like it being termed like that, but things that raise my dopamine level. Because I've cut them out, I am now sliding back down the other side, and so like there's a bit of like malaise and a bit of tiredness and a bit of chemical lowness, which I wrote about once upon a time. The fact that you should try and be aware of when you are sad, because I'm looking at the microphone talking, man. What's going on? When you should be aware that you're sad because you are sad and things in your life are making you sad, and the other times, a lot of the time, it's because you've just got some mad chemicals going on in your body. I mean, loads of people have specific problems where their bodies don't produce the hormones that keeps them feeling good, but I don't know what they are, because like I said, brain not working today. So what I was trying to talk about was constraints and the usefulness of constraints, and I'm not going to dive deep into that generally because I just tried to and it didn't work because of the brain fog. But what I will do is give my specific example, and maybe that's actually better, and maybe that's a good framework for things in the future. If I'm more likely to give things with my personal experience attached to them, then it's a lot easier for me, and I don't have to try and come up with facts and data and science, because for that stuff you need to prepare. I mean, I think Andrew Huberman prepares for some of his podcast episodes like for a week. I mean, the guy is insanely good at what he does, and his podcasts are so filled with data. I don't know how he does it. He's a miracle, a walking miracle of a man. So the specific of constraints being useful, I want to talk about the fact that having a child, having my son, has meant that I am so driven, and in the time that I have, I get a very brief time every night. I would say I get 1 hour, not tonight, but I get 1 hour of non-tiredness. And by the time, and that's usually from about 8 till 9, and once I hit 9, I'm just messed up. I'm so tired. I try and read usually. Not much goes in, but I try and read. So I get this 1 hour, and you know what? Because of my drive now to go after the things that I want, i.e. being a creator and making money from creating, I just get after it every single evening now. And honestly, it's really hard sometimes. I find it very difficult. I find it hard to have the motivation to do it, especially when my actual motivation is, my long-term motivation is to make a career from this, and the only indicators I have as to whether that is working or not are things like view count, which is sitting at like 4 views on some videos, which is hilarious. 4 views, man. I need to screenshot that shit for later on. Obviously, I've talked before about how that is not the goal with this series as yet, but you still look at it like we're humans, we're addicted to approval, and when I look at that and see the lack of approval of my videos, even though that's not necessarily an indicator of their value, it still slightly stings, and it always will, to not look at that, you've got to be a very, very disciplined person. But it's okay. It only affects me in my low moments, because let's face it, when you feel low, you look for all the things, all the tools, all the weapons in your armory to beat yourself up with. And when you're happy, a lot of the time you see all of the good things, and some of the time there's a crossover, and actually the things you said were bad yesterday are actually good today. And that's the whole thing. I thought I wasn't recording for a second then. There's a different energy when I record sat down with my camera and when I sit in front of my computer, and that's something that's really interesting to play with. I feel a lot more relaxed now, and that means that I'm more liable is not the word, but I'm going to say more liable to move into less charted sectors of my brain and thoughts, and I'm more likely to be serendipitous and come up with interesting and also useless information. But that's cool. Sometimes those two pieces of information can be found in the same department of the brain building. So where have I even come from, and where have I arrived at? Let's rewind to the fact that, because of having my son, I'm sliding down the couch. Because of having my son, I have very, very limited time, and it really does mean that I don't have time to mess around anymore. I don't have the time to not focus and not do the things that I say I am going to do. I just do them. And it is... I would like more free time to relax and stuff, but honestly, I had a period where I saved up a bit of money and I was off work for a few months, and I just messed around and I played games and I didn't make the most of it. I did some creating, but there were various reasons or things that distracted me from that. And yet here I am in the fastest moving, fullest period of my life, and I'm finally doing it. And I think that says something. As is that a quote from Matt Ridley's book? I think it is. Matt Ridley said, necessity is the mother of all innovation. And I think necessity is also the mother of motivation. Motivation, the idea that we have of motivation is bullshit. You are only going to do the things that you want or need to do. You ain't gonna motivate yourself to do something that you don't want to do. You either want to do it enough or you don't want to do it enough. And parenthood makes you want to do it, because when you're doing something for someone other than yourself and someone that you love more than you thought was humanly possible, you just do it. I'm going to leave it there because I feel a little bit tipsy almost off of tiredness. So I'm just going to go. And also, as a little aside, you want to see how long my hair is, man? That is mad, isn't it? That is the longest my hair has ever been. And I need to go to the barber's to figure out if he knows how to cut long hair like this to make it look good as long hair, because I've never done this before. Right, cool. Catch you later. Have a nice evening. Relax tonight. Take a break. Really sink into this surface that you were upon. A la Michael Ashcroft, a tweet that he wrote last night that kind of resounded with me quite a lot because I felt myself a bit tensed up. Catch you later. Bye bye.